We would like to welcome you in the activity of
This is
Day at Hijawi College University.
Hello. Hello. Hi, Frank. How are you? This is Amjad. How are you doing? Are you doing well? This is Amjad. How are you doing? Are you doing well? Oops.
Hello, Amjad. Is it Amjad?
Yeah, that's me. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm in Berlin now. I'm in Berlin.
Berlin.
That's why I'm
see
doing
each
this.
Other next, maybe in the beginning of November. So how is everything? Are you doing well? What about
everything is
professional start?
Everything is prepared.
Excellent.
Yeah, everything is prepared to have a good program in beginning of November.
That's great. I'll see you there, huh?
Yes, I will be there.
Happy to have you with us here at Al-Hijawi Scientific Day, and we hope that you will be in a good mood so that we will utilize your experience, and you have, the floor is yours now. Please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Amjad, tell me a little bit about the audience. Who is listening?
Actually, they are academic people now because they are from the Al-Hijawi faculty, and some of them are coming from industrial background. The problem is that there was a little shift in the activities, so that you will not see a high number of participants, but within like half an hour, a few minutes later, they will start to join, because they are still in the exhibition. They are opening the exhibition now. Okay, but it's now recorded, and it will be broadcasted live in our channels in the YouTube and the Facebook, so that the lecture will be seen by most of our students and faculty members, and also industry people in Jordan. So it's
okay. Can you hear me clear?
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
We can hear you. Yes.
Dr. Yusra is the assistant of the dean. She is following up with you now. Okay.
Thanks for joining us in this session, to talk about innovation and entrepreneurship. We are welcoming you to the Scientific Day of Hijawi College. This session is part from our schedule, and it's a very interesting topic that we all are interested about to hear and listen to. I would like you to start now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to start. I was asked to talk a little bit about From Dream to Action, a path to become an entrepreneur. And let me do it in the following way. I want to encourage people to do that, to go that path. At the same time, I want to highlight a few issues that people are really, let's say, able to achieve their objectives. And I want to structure it in a way that I talk a little bit about the entrepreneur DNA first. Then I talk, give me the next chart, please. Yeah, this is entrepreneur DNA. The next chart is business model. So give me the next one, please. Yes. And third, and last but not least, numbers and tools. Next chart, please. Yes. So this is the structure I want to follow. And if you go ahead with the next slide, please. Entrepreneur DNA. From all we know what's going on internationally, with new business models. We believe that an entrepreneur who's starting a startup today should be strong and fast. And we'll talk a little bit about this later on, about speed, which is quite important these days. Next chart, please. I want to highlight only a few, let's say, features, which I believe are very advantageous and very good if you are aiming for success in your startup and your business. I think it's important to have really to obtain mental strength, to be really a firm character. And very important is that you have real passion for what you do, what you're doing, and what your business you are starting. All the rest, target orientation, responsibility, risk tolerance, extroversion, and so on, are important as well. But I would like really to highlight mental strength and passion for the business you are going to do. Give me the next chart, please. And you should be aware, everybody who is going to start a business should be aware that what he or she is doing takes probably long time. It needs really long time, and it really needs people who are following up and don't give up that early. So it is rather a marathon than a sprint, what you are, if you're going to start your own business. And we'll go back to this chart. Forget about work. Leave it, please. Leave it. The next, yeah. I will go back to this chart later on, but for the time being, I can tell you that in your focus should not be the work-life balance, at least in the beginning, because to start a business is not an easy endeavor. Give me the next chart, please. Very important. If you start a business, you're always dealing with other people. You are dealing with investors. You are dealing with banks, partners, and these people, especially those people who are giving you money to make your dream come true, are asking themselves, what is this lady or this guy? What is he or she doing? What is his track record? What experience did he make so far? Can I trust him or her that the team can do it? And last but not least, can they pay back the interest? This is the case for banks, Can they pay back the money I'm giving to them? And investors, of course, will ask themselves, well, this money I'm giving them, equity money, will it pay out for me? What will be my benefits from that? Next one, please. Next one is about business model. When you start your business, start thinking in business models. Frame your idea, whatever business idea you have, frame it into a business model, and frame this business model in an economic ecosystem. The question is, you should ask yourself, what is happening in the target ecosystem right now? In this ecosystem you are targeting with your business idea. Yeah. Next one, please. And if you are a student, maybe in a technology area, look at technology and innovations from a customer perspective, from a customer benefit perspective. Yeah. Look at demand of the industry, which we call B2B. Look at demand of customers, which we call B2C. And how can I go back to the ecosystem? How can I, with my business idea, improve, alter, or even replace ecosystems? Replacing is basically a kind of disruptive approach. Yes, this is the chart I'm looking at now. I'd like to structure the business model in ecosystems in two ways. First way is the so-called push approach. Push approach is what I'm going to push into the market. The example I had earlier from the customer perspective was what I call pull approach. So what is the market pulling Yeah, what is the market looking for? And now I'm talking about the push approach. Which technologies research are having the potential to positive impact the demand on in a certain ecosystem. Let me give you one example. Henry Ford is famous for having said the following. Henry Ford is of course, we all know the founder of the Ford automotive company. He said the following. If I had asked my car faster horses, so he did not produce faster or give them faster horses. He tried to, he invented a car. This is a typical example for a push approach. Let me give you some examples where you can basically enter in your ideas and your business models in a kind of push approach. Digital transformation of your society, production technology. So what technologies are used for production? Water management. Next chart, please. Yes, cybersecurity, very important issue these days. Customer experience, everything around customer experience. What can be done in terms of software and IT in this area? Advertising. Next chart, please. New materials, waste management, energy. These can be all fields and economical ecosystems where your business models can fit in, where you can do, where you can be an entrepreneur, you can act as a game changer, or you can act improving certain things. Yeah. Next chart, please. A business model. If you ask yourself, what the hell is the business model doing? Here are a few sentences. The business model describes which services and products will be offered in which markets, the value proposition for the customers. It can be business customers and residential customers as well. Of course, the value proposition for partners, if I engage and work with partners. The architecture of value creation is very important. People tend to underestimate what it means to design and produce a product that creates value. The next one is a USP. So what I'm going to do different than others. If I have a complete new issue, of course, it's new. Nobody is having it in the market. But if I'm having approached me too, so I'm offering a service as others do, the question you should ask yourself, what is my USP, a unique selling point? And how the product shall be distributed. This is very important. So I'm going to think what the hell I'm doing to have my distributed in my product in the market. How can I have it distributed? Next chart, please. Okay. And please be aware, if you are going to go that path, that the answer is not at your desk only. The answer is in the market. The answer is with your friends, within your community. Take your time for thinking, use help. Always reflect, what I'm going to do. Is it still the path which is appropriate? Yeah. Adjust if it is needed and keep going. We as professional staff, we also adjusted our business model in the field of training and coaching young people and also mid-sized companies. Next chart, please. And next but not least, be aware of your stakeholders. Yeah, market customers, of course, they are important stakeholders. Industry community. What in the industry is which partners could help me in terms of realizing my business model? Universities and TTO, technology transfer offices, partners for production, a very important point. We had a lot of business models. We saw a lot of business models from students in this kind of competition early this year. And we had a strong feeling that they want to do a lot of products. They want to generate a lot of products, but there was a lack of knowledge. That was our feeling, the lack of knowledge, how these products could be done, produced. Yeah. And there was also a lack of knowledge how what kind of partners they should involve. Please, yes, distributors and banks, private equity partners. This is the next one. Yeah, distributors who is going to distribute your products, and partners are those who are giving you the money to make your dream come true. So next one, please. Next one, the next item or a category I want to talk about is, no, please leave this business, please leave that numbers and tools. Yes, this one, yeah. Numbers and tools. If you are going to start your business, you should be aware, always be aware of your numbers. Sales, number of pieces, what I'm going to sell, you know, and how many pieces I'm going to sell, service or your service units, revenues, operational costs, investment, cost of capital, break even. Sounds very financial. It is financial. Next one, please. I give you an example. Sales per week, per month run rates. In order to check whether my ideas, what I can sell and how many pieces I can sell, try to break it down. You know, try to break it down. If my business plan is saying I want to sell 100,000 pieces a year, break it down to a day. Yeah, and make a run rate out of it. You know, is it realistic that I can sell this number of pieces? Do the same with revenue streams, revenue per customer, revenue per week, per month, run rates. So break it down to do checks, to do sound checks, whether this works, whether this is realistic, what I'm going to predict. Next one, please. And if you are going to, let's say, talk to banks and investors, you cannot avoid to describe everything in a proper business case. Business case for investors, equity, business case for banks, debt, and business case for partners, trust, you know. I don't want to go too deep into this, into all this. You can read it, you know. You need to do a summary about the company, the basics and the forecast, and you need to do a financial plan. Next chart, please. The financial plan, it talks about the market, target group, strategy plan, description of the market and customer, the products, talks about product description, USP, description, sales, pricing strategy, and competition. Next one, please. And this one talks about the financial numbers only. All relevant financing plans, finance plans, sales and revenue plan, cost plan, investments, liquidity plan, cash flow statements, P&L, and so on. You cannot avoid it. It needs to be done. And you as somebody who has skin in the game, you are talking about your business and your success, you better have all the relevant numbers always in your mind. That's what I want to tell you about numbers first. Next chart, please. Now, when it comes to presenting those numbers to your relevant stakeholders, to banks, investors, and so on, it is important to avoid mistakes, to avoid failures. Failures could be a weak market perception, that you are not really understand what's going on in the market, that you don't have a solid financing plan, that you don't talk in the language those people understand. The banks understand the language. How can this guy or this lady pay back my money, and can they pay interest? You know, the investors need to be addressed in a language. Is this a profitable business? Does it give to me a business success as an investor with my equity as well? You know. Other mistakes are overconfidence. You were not too critical with yourself. You know, formal mistakes, wrong numbers, calculation mistakes, and so on, or even a weak presentation, weak messages. You know, this could be all failures you can avoid if you let's say are aware of those traps. Next chart, please. By designing and let's say developing your own business, there will be always doubts coming up into your mind. You know, doubts whether the business really works. Is it really going this way? You know, what is, for instance, the impact of my cost position, of my profitability? Did I take everything into account? Is something missing? You know. And here I go back to the chart I had earlier. Go into the market, check with other people, and let them have, share with them the ideas, the numbers, and ask them whether this is okay or not, whether this is fine or not. Another option could be do a market survey, do a prototyping, just do something and test it in the market. Go out. This is my message. Yeah. Next chart, please. Yeah. Two small issues, especially as a beginner with little money. Be careful if your business model can be realized only with high stakes, with high personal financial stake. This is a dangerous field but somebody who is, like, let's say, looking for money and does not have too much resources. So dangerous field for big ideas, which needs a lot of resources. And be careful if high upfront investments are needed. Next chart, please. So the next one, this is kind of summary. There is no silver bullet when identifying, judging your ideas or business models. Be aware of that. The speed of knowledge increases. Technology development is faster than one can imagine. And digitalization is a key technology for young entrepreneurs. It's knowledge-based and it's often scalable. So digitalization is the ideal environment for starting business everywhere in the world, everywhere. It can be done everywhere. It is not dependent from the location where you are. The only thing you should have is, of course, you should have access and for high-speed data stuff. Let me give you one example. People tend to say that 1 month in Shenzhen, this is in China, equals 4 months everywhere. That means the speed in the Chinese area in Shenzhen is much higher. The speed of realization is much higher than elsewhere. This is set by entrepreneurs who are working in this field. Another example is about the speed of financing and equity financing. Tiger Global Fund is an equity fund, a kind of, let's say, investor, a startup investor, or even investor for scale-up businesses. These guys employ a machine room full of analysts, and working all days. They were working all days and analyzing business models and companies and startups, And it takes only days, sometimes only hours, to do a deal, because they are always involved in checking and analyzing startups and existing companies. That should give you a kind of idea what's going on in the market, especially in a global scale, in terms of new businesses. Next chart, please. So what I would like to encourage you to be fast, Remember all this, what I said, but please be fast. This is very important. Next chart, please. This should not, next chart. Yeah, this should not, of course, take you, hinder you or discourage you not to dream big. It is okay to dream big, but please stay on the ground, the business ground, on your personal ground as well. Next one, please. Now I come back to this, refer back to this work-life balance chart, what I promised you. Confucius said, if you love what you do, you will never have to work a day in your life. Yeah. And that gives kind of different perspective on the work-life balance. If you really love what you do, if you with passion follow your dream and follow your business idea, then work-life balance is not an issue for you, because you are doing what you always want to do, doing your own business. Finally, I would only talk about some examples, what's going on, just to make it a little bit lively. Next chart, please. Please. Next one. Chart. Next chart, please. Yeah. The Live Earth, a new space startup in Berlin, satellite monitoring of large-scale infrastructures. that endorses, that certain business can be done everywhere, whether it's in Berlin or Jordan or Erbil or whatsoever, or Amman. This business can be a kind of, software as a service can be done everywhere. This example provides market-leading solutions for actionable insights and for operators of large-scale linear infrastructure, to prove reliability, increase safety, and lower the OPEX, a satellite-based monitoring system, just as an example. Next one, please. This one, yes, yeah, thank you. So I'm back. Wait a second. Yeah, I'm back. I just got a call. Sorry, no, I had to push away this call. But the next one is Celonis. In various occasions, I talked about already this company, which is based in Munich, Germany, but in New York as well these days. Target customers are B2B. Business mode is process mining, or let's say again, software as a service. It analyzes core processes of every company, which is running a grid of hundreds of individual systems. Most of the companies today are running too many IT systems. It's too complex. It's too fragmented. And this Celonis is analyzing core processes and is giving hints for improvement of those processes. This is the demand, what they see in the market. Next one. Yes, so I give you an example. Procurement. It finds out, this Celonis company finds out that 90% of your procurement, your complex procurement issue in a big company is okay. 10% shows wrong purchase from let's say, where the value of the purchase of the procurement can be improved. This is just an example. This is a solution they offer in the market, and it is an example that it can be done everywhere, because it's right and only software-based stuff, what they are doing here. Next chart, this is the last chart. My last chart, yes. ServiceNow is a company which is led by the former CEO, Bill McDermott, the former CEO of SAP in Germany. He is having interest in Celonis. He just announced a partnership, with this company. So he is trying to shift or lift what Celonis is doing in a higher level. With the potential to widen the approach, as a basis for all digital processes, which links people, functions, systems in your company. It's a business model for software as a service, and the target customers are B2B. These were only a few examples which I would like to highlight, which should prove that certain businesses can really change what's happening in certain economical ecosystems, and it shall prove that certain business can be done everywhere, regardless where you are sitting. With that, I would like to finish my presentation, and I hope it was a little bit encouraging, and it was also a little bit, let's say, highlighting the, let's say, challenges ahead of people who would like to become or be an entrepreneur. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Frank. Thank you so much. That was very interesting, and I always would love to hear more about entrepreneurship. Does anybody here have any question to Dr. or to Mr. Frank? Do you have any questions? Okay.
From my side, I'm fine, but I'm really happy to receive questions if there are any. But they can also receive questions later on via email. No problem.
Okay.
We are open for that.
For you. I have a question.
Yes, please.
I always think about entrepreneurship as like innovation in new ideas, but my feeling is for me to have a new idea, I can solve a problem like in the community, for example, or in the society, but I don't need to gain money. So will that be considered as entrepreneurship, or is that something like for example, is not continuous, or it's not because I don't gain money from this service, for example, it shouldn't be called entrepreneurship?
The basic underlying idea for entrepreneurship is to earn money, to have profit. Let's face it, you know, the desire to work and to get profit is the underlying motivation for innovations, for work, for everything, you know. If you look to countries, former countries with socialism regime, you know, that we have this experience in Germany, where we had the state in the east and the state in the west. The state in the east was basically not encouraging entrepreneurship. The state would like to plan and execute everything. And the result was the bankruptcy of the state, the bankruptcy of buildings, cars, everything was basically a mess, a disaster. So I'm a firm believer that, I will continue with that later on, I'm a firm believer that the basis for further development, regardless of what direction, is the aiming for profit. Now, I would like to add one sentence to that. I would say responsible entrepreneurship. Responsible entrepreneurship means I'm not spoiling the environment. I'm not spoiling. I'm not treating people in a bad manner and this kind of stuff. And so, responsible entrepreneurship is still the best and underlying way to earn money, and it is a precondition.
So it's always related to business model.
Yes, at the end you will have, at the end you describe what your business, what are you going to do in a business model, and the next step would be a business case with all the financial plans, which is based on the business model.
So even if I have innovative idea, and this idea could like have some fix some problem in the society. Yes. Now I wouldn't call this entrepreneurship. I would call it like kind of something innovative idea. It has another name.
Everything is right. An innovative idea is an innovative idea. But if you want to make it happen, you know, remember the chart I showed to you. What does the business model explain? Yes. You need to describe it in a kind of business model. You know, also in order to prove for yourself, is this what I'm thinking here? Is this what is this the hell? Is it working? What is it addressing? And whom is it helping? And what is it? How can it be? How can the product be produced, and what is the architecture of value creation? You need this, you know.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. That was helpful.
I hope it became clear. You know,
Yes, I always confuse like some ideas with entrepreneurship, but sometimes I feel like I don't need to relate entrepreneurship with business model. I don't need to gain money as long as I can apply my idea and do something and fix a problem in the society. This could be entrepreneurship. But now it's clear for me that entrepreneurship is about, you know, like having a profits and having like money and like kind of having kind of continuous profits like among the years, right?
Otherwise it's not working. That's the way it works, you know.
And I should care about my competitors, right? I should care about my competitors like in the same like area. Suppose that I'm gonna have a startup or company in Jordan. I should look to the other companies that work this similar idea or that target the same group.
Yes.
Before I consider this as a business, right?
Yeah. You definitely should look at it. If you're not inventing the wheel new, and if you're doing business in the fields where others are already in, you should definitely do that. Yes.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Frank. Anybody has any question? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Frank. That was very interesting session. I would love to hear from you more in the future. And thanks for giving this session. Thank you so much. Thank you from Jordan.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.